Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf here, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to bring you guys my Game Week 33 transfer plans. In this one, we'll take a quick little recap at how we got on in Game Week 32. Overall, it was actually a good game week, despite the fact we got a very small red arrow, but, you know, these things happen. We'll take a really in-depth look at the teams that are doubling for the upcoming game week, as this is a big week for a lot of different people. If you're trying to get rank gain, if you're trying to catch up in mini leagues, these are the times that you want to be using your chips, and there's certain teams we want to be targeting. So we'll take a look at their expected goals, their expected clean sheets, and a whole lot more detail. And of course, I'll show you guys my transfer plans that I'm thinking about making for this coming game week. And just a heads up, there could be a big minus incoming to try and take full advantage of the double this week. So we've got a lot to talk about in this video. I do hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And as always, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my YouTube channel for another video. So let's take a little recap at how we got on in Game Week 32. And like I said, it was a decent game week overall. We finished on 58 points. Obviously, we did take a -4, so our overall score was 54 points. We got a very, very small red arrow to about 385, 86k in the world. So we're still doing all right. We're still on course for our top 100 push. And we're going to try and use this game week coming to do that. So let's take a quick little recap at some of the scores we got. Obviously, the defense really poor this game week. So obviously, David Raya, you know, and Gabriel, not really the greatest. David Raya only getting 1 point. Gabriel getting 4 because he did get an assist by winning the penalty for Arsenal. But obviously, Arsenal conceding 2 goals, losing the clean sheet, losing the game as well. So it wasn't really a great start for them. Malik Chow did get subbed on for us with a 2 point. Obviously, Urian Timber didn't play. We knew that that was a potential risk. I just started him just out of the hope that he was going to be back. But obviously, he wasn't. He was still flagged. So Malik Chow came in. Nico O'Reilly, on the other hand, did come back with a massive return for us. Got himself a goal. And this was a transfer. This is what we used the -4 on. And I was still umming and ahhing about it, about whether or not to bring him in. It just goes to show you that sometimes minuses do work, because that would have been James Hill. And of course, you know, it's a 7-point swing. So O'Reilly, really, really massive return from him. A goal, got the clean sheet. Unfortunately, he did come off injured in the 63rd minute. So luckily, he banked all his points. We'll have to wait and see what the news is about him and going forward to double game week 33 as well. But he was the real bright spark in what was quite a poor defensive display this week. Then we come into the midfield again. It's been one of these things this year with the midfield where one week they're great, next week they're not. So this week was one of the ones that they're not. Cole Palmer blanking, got himself 4 points, did hit DEFCON. Semenyo only 2 points, Gordon 3. Bruno Fernandes got himself an assist, but unfortunately got himself booked. So he obviously was our captain this week, 8 points for him. Diego Gomez, thank goodness he did not get his yellow card. And obviously Brighton have played 32 games now, which means that his suspension gets pushed back to 15 games. So there's no chance he's going to be missing the double game week. This was the big thing this week that all my hopes were relying on, that he did not get himself booked. He actually didn't. He got himself clean sheet, got DEFCON. So 5 points for him. Overall, really good game week in terms of that player in particular. And up front, Danny Welbeck, a little bit disappointing this week. I was hoping he could get something against Burnley. Only 2 points, but Igor Thiago did make up for that with a brace against Everton, bringing home 13. So, like I said, overall, it wasn't a bad game week in total. It's very, very small red arrow, but we're not really too fussed about that, as 33 is the one that we are going to be targeting to try and get us a massive rank gain. Right, so let's take a look at what some of the doubling teams are looking like for goals scored and also clean sheets. So we're going to do this bit in 2 parts. I'll start off with the expected goal first. No surprise, Manchester City are at the top of the list on expected goals for both these games. Obviously, they are playing Arsenal at home and Burnley away. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. The Arsenal game is massive for so many different reasons. Obviously, the title race, depending on, you know, who's going to really get a front foot in that. So City are going to have emphasis to want to try and win the game. Arsenal are going to have emphasis to try and win the game as well. So that one could be either a really low scoring game where, you know, the goal predictions just aren't there, or it could be the complete opposite where it's just end to end, seeing who's going to win. So they are predicted to score the most goals. Obviously, I think the Burnley game, you know, away from home is the one that is where majority of that sort of stats come from. They are predicted to score 4.1 goals over the 2 games. So I think Man City attackers this week, if you've got Erling Haaland, Antoine Semenyo, Rayan Cherki, we're going to talk about him in the next section as well. So there's a few different attackers from Man City that really could come to light in this double game week. So no surprise that they are number 1. Number 2 on expected goals for this coming game week is Chelsea. Now, I'm surprised a little bit. They haven't really been playing that well. Obviously, they got beat quite comprehensively by Manchester City. Maybe could have had a goal in that game, but, you know, I think the one thing with Chelsea have been is a little bit inconsistent this year, and especially the likes of João Pedro, Cole Palmer. They're the two that I think a lot of people are going to be owning, or at least trying to bring in this week. They've got a decent double on paper. Man United at home and Brighton away. They're not incredibly hard fixtures, but they're not easy either. Somewhere in between. So I think that there could be goals in this. They are predicted to score 3.2. They are followed closely by Bournemouth, who are predicted to score 3. Now, this one, I personally don't think I'll be looking at any Bournemouth attackers. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about Krupi. You know, he's somebody who sort of comes in and out. He does play, you know, fairly regular, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw him start on the bench for one of the games or, you know, come off early. So I personally not going to be looking at Bournemouth attackers. I think defenders probably more so, but we're going to come into that in the next section. Then we're followed by Leeds and Brighton, who are both tied at just below 3 goals. Now, I think Brighton's stats are a little bit underwhelming for what they could potentially offer. Obviously, they got Tottenham first in that game, and obviously De Zerbi's come up against his old club, so I think there's a lot surrounding the Brighton game that could be quite interesting. So the likes, like for me, myself, I own Danny Welbeck, I own Gomez. If you own the likes of Mitoma, Hinshelwood, Minte, I think you just keep them and just hope that, you know, that they're going to start in some capacity. Now, obviously, I think we could see rotation. Brighton have got quite a good squad, especially in the attacking areas, so we may end up seeing some rotation. Jorginho Ruta might play one, Danny Welbeck might get rested. It's just a risk you're going to have to take on the double. You know, like I said, at this point of the season, this is the time where you want to start trying to make rank gain on, you know, your mini leagues, your overall rank. So you're going to have to take certain risks, whether it be different players, different captains. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Leeds, on the other hand, obviously getting a massive win last night against Manchester United. Okafor, you know, bragging up a brace. Dominic Calvert-Lewin did play, didn't get anything from that game, but on another day, you know, that could have been, those goals could have been him. So I think he's a fine own. And of course, Burnley at the bottom, not really too much to talk about on them. I think no one's going to be really owning anyone from defence or attack, unless you've got Dubravka on the bench. Other than that, I think Burnley are just a complete avoid. Okay, so that brings us on to the defensive side of things for this double game week. Now, Manchester City, again, are top. I think a lot of their stats, again, are due to the Burnley game. Like I said, the Arsenal game could go either way. Nico O'Reilly is an interesting one. Obviously, he came off in the 63rd minute. It looked like it was a hamstring, so we're not really too sure on that. Now, what the best move to do with him is the big question this week. If you've got him, what do you do? Do you keep him? Do you sell him? I think the best news will be just to wait until Friday. Now, I know it's not ideal because obviously, you know, price change is going to happen, which might price you out of something depending on what your budget is. But I think just for the time being, you'd want to wait and find out what the news on that is. Because if it's likely that he's going to be out of the Arsenal game, then I think there's doubts surrounding the Burnley game just because of how short the turnaround is. So if that's the case and he's going to miss both of them, I think even if it means taking a minus, I actually think it's worth moving him out for. The obvious replacement would be just to go to Mark Gahey. He's probably going to be nailed on minutes. He has a little bit of outside attacking threat. There is potential that you go for Ray and Aït-Nouri. Obviously, like I said, if Nico O'Reilly's going to be out for both of them, you'd imagine Aït-Nouri will come in and play both those games. So there is potential for him as well, but I think we'll have to wait and see on that one and just maybe wait till the Friday to hear the news from Pep's press conference. Second up on the defensive clean sheet is Leeds, funnily enough. They are above Chelsea and they are above Brighton. Now, I don't know how many people are going to be owning Leeds defenders. You know, obviously, Carl Darlow's been ruled out till May, so he's not going to be available. I think the ones that I'm looking at personally is Pascal Struijk. There is an outside chance for a Carl Darlow in goal as well, who looks like he's performing quite well. Makes some saves. Obviously, if Leeds keep a clean sheet, he's probably going to end up getting towards bonus points as well. I do think a Leeds defender, it's not just for this double game week. They've actually got good fixtures after the double as well. Obviously, they will blank in 34, so you'll have to navigate that in some way, whether it be through a 3 hit, or maybe if you've only got a couple missing, then it doesn't really matter. But after that blank in game week 34, they actually have a good run of fixtures to the end of the season. So I don't mind investing from a Leeds point of view and just with a view just to hold them until the end of the season. Chelsea and Brighton up next. Now, I don't really know if I want to go anywhere near Chelsea, if I'm being honest with you. If Reece James was fit and available to play and you know he's going to start, I think 100%. But obviously, with a double game week, you're just never sure on players' fitness, and especially with Chelsea defensively, not something that I'm personally looking at. Brighton, maybe a little bit more so. Obviously, Tottenham, not in the great run of form. Obviously, we saw how they played against Sunderland on the weekend. It wasn't great. I know De Zerbi's got a point to prove against his old club, but I do like the likes of Bart Verbruggen, Jean-Paul Van Heck, and especially Mats Wiffer, because he's very good for DEFCON as well. Now, I know he got a brace. That's not going to be happening every week, but I do think that, he offers a little bit of an upside with the DEFCON and with the clean sheet potential as well. Right, so let's take a look at what my transfer plans are looking like for game week 33. And as I said in the intro, we are looking at taking a minus this week, and it could be a big minus at that. So we'll start off with a definite transfer that I'm going to be making, and that is Anthony Gordon moving to Rayan Cherki. Now, I have one Manchester City spot available. The obvious answer is to go for Erling Haaland, but I think at this point of the season, I'm trying to play catch up and I'm trying to get rank gain, and I think obviously Haaland's going to be very highly owned, and of course everyone who owns him is going to captain him this week. So for me, it's all about trying to go different at this point. I've gone for Haaland now for like 7-8 game weeks, and touch wood, it hasn't been that bad. Obviously, his form isn't great at the moment. Not to say that he couldn't do it in the double. Obviously he does turn up in big games, but for me, I'm just going to try and go somewhere different, and I am going to be bringing Rayan Cherki as a guaranteed transfer already. I'm not going to make that change till right to the end of the week. Just let hopefully no injuries crop up, nothing like that. I may need to transfer elsewhere, but if everything is as it is now, then that will be my first transfer confirmed. Anthony Gordon moving to Rayan Cherki as my 1-3 this week. Then it becomes about targeting the other doubles, and is there any way we can sort of, maximize what we're trying to do this week. Now, obviously, Yuri and Timber is still my team, and he is still flagged. I don't want to own him for this game week. He's got probably the worst fixture he could have away at Manchester City. So even if he's back, the chance of a clean sheet there is not great. but also there's no guarantee he's going to start. And obviously I'm going to be bench boosting this week, so I have not got time for players who are not going to be playing any minutes. So for me, I think the obvious choice this week is actually to move to a Leeds defender. Obviously, like I said, they are second for expected goals conceded this game week. So I'm going to go to Pascal Struijk. He's got very good chance of DEFCON. He missed out by 1 last night, I think. He finished on 9 against Manchester United. There is obviously the likes of Jayden Bogle, who's playing as a wing-back, James Justin as well. But I think Struijk offers me minutes, DEFCON potential. And that's, do you know what, for me, that's enough just to safety, just from a safe point of view, in terms of guaranteeing someone who's going to play both the games. That's all I'm looking for this week, and just trying to maximise on that. Yuri Timber is not going to have that. He might not even play this game week. So yeah, for me, I think that would be a -4 booked in as well, moving Timber to Pascal Struijk. Ekitike is another problem. He didn't start on the weekend for Liverpool. He didn't even come on. And I think that is a big problem for me. I think it's time for me to get rid of him. I know taking a minus is never ideal, but I think this game week in particular, it's time for him to move on out. And I think the obvious replacement for me is João Pedro this week. Now, obviously, Chelsea have got a double. Chelsea, like I said in the previous section, they are hit and miss, and you just never know what you're going to get. But I think with the fixtures they've got this week, they are second for predicted goals. So I'm hoping that if they do score, it's going to come between either Cole Palmer or João Pedro. So I probably will end up taking a definite -8 in order to get rid of Ekitike. Because again, same as Yuri Timber, I don't want to have someone on a bench boost who's not going to get any minutes or is going to come off the bench. It just seems like such a waste. And I think the -4 could actually be beneficial this game week anyway. So yeah, we're going to move Ekitike out, and the probable replacement will be João Pedro. There's an outside consideration of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I think João Pedro, for me, Chelsea are just a little bit better and maybe a little bit more reliable in terms of scoring goals. And especially if Chelsea do score goals, I think there's a higher chance that it comes through him. Now, the potential for a -12 is definitely there. And I'm looking at this in 2 ways. It's either going to be a David Raya to Carl Darlow move, which I never like taking a minus for a goalkeeper. I just don't think it's worth it. Like, if David Raya goes to Etihad and obviously, you know, City score, which is I think a lot of people are predicting to happen, he's probably going to end up on 2, dare I say 1 point if they concede more than 1 goal. Carl Darlow, if he comes in now, if he keeps 1 clean sheet, the move's worked, right? Because then you have the second game. So the upside is there. It's just goalkeepers' upside is just never really that great. But also, Arsenal's fixtures after the Man City game, they're not bad. And I think, obviously, if Arsenal are still in the title race, we may end up seeing, you know, sort of nervy games, Arsenal having to hold on to a lead, and David Raya will become important then. So I'm still unsure about taking that as a -12. The other minus I'm looking at is getting rid of Malik Chow. Obviously, Newcastle, for me, they're just such a hit and miss team. And to be honest, I've had enough of just, you know, hoping 1 week that they're going to keep a clean sheet, next week they don't. In a game that you bench them, they keep the clean sheet. It's too much hassle for me. So I am looking at a Brighton defender. Obviously, Van Heck is, you know, guaranteed for minutes. I think Max Viffer offers a little bit more of an upside with DEFCON potential, almost guaranteed. But also, he, as we saw on the weekend, he does have attacking threat as well. Now, I know he's just got a brace. We're not expecting that every week, but I do think that a Brighton defender is a potential, you know, upside for me. It's a tough one, this one. It's either going to be a double up on Leeds or I go for Brighton, which, like I said in the previous bit, Leeds after this game week isn't actually that bad. Like, their fixture run is actually quite good. So I wouldn't even mind going differential by trying to just do something different for the last couple of games of the season. So we'll have to wait and see. Definitely a -8 is going to be coming this week. You know, Ekitike has to go for me. Like I said, I can't have players this week who are going to be, you know, potentially drawing dead and just wasting a spot on the bench boost. Yuri Timber, same thing, is definitely going to go. Gordon's definitely going to go. So that's already a -8 locked in with the potential view to do a -12 as well. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'm so sorry I haven't been back with an FPL challenge video for a while. For those of you guys who watched that and like that series, I'm going to try and get one up this week for you guys. It's currently Tuesday at the time of me recording this, so I'll aim to get it up for maybe Wednesday evening, Thursday morning. And then, of course, we'll be back with the final team selection, going through all the different details, all the different stats, and then, of course, the transfers that I've made on Friday morning / Friday evening before the Saturday deadline as well. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.